Shepherd's purse, or Capsella bursa-pastoris. This member of the mustard family is an annual, meaning it only lives 1 year at a time, and it grows in a habitat of gardens, roadsides, and waste places. The plant grows between 6 and 20 inches tall, and has a white flower that is in bloom between March and December. This tiny flower has 4 regular parts or petals and 6 stamens. Later, the flower will turn into a triangular seed pod that is heart-shaped and indented at the tip. The plant has alternate leaves, and the leaves are divided. The basal leaves are deeply and irregularly lobed or divided, and the stem leaves are entire or toothed and clasp the stem. Caution should be taken when handling this plant. In rare cases, the seeds are known to cause blistering of the skin. As for the plant's edibility, before the flowers appear, the young leaves can be added to salads or prepared like spinach, that is, steamed or boiled. And you can use the dried seed pods as a pepper-like seasoning. The Apache would collect the seeds and then winnow them, that is, they would sift them and blow out the excess that they didn't need. Then they would dry them and store them, and ground them into a flour, and later turn it into bread. They were also roasted without grinding and combined with other foods. The tops were cooked alone as greens or mixed with meats. The Clio Indians would gather the seeds as food and use the leaves as greens. And the Cherokee would mix the plant with other plants or other greens for flavoring, and the leaves were also cooked and eaten as greens. The Mendocino Indians would gather the seeds that they considered a staple and create a pinole, that is, a cake made of ground seeds and other plants that can be eaten alone or made into a beverage. And finally, the Thompson Indians would gather the leaves and soak them overnight, and then eat them raw or cook them as vegetables the next day. Shepherd's purse has historically been used for a few medicinal purposes. The Cheyenne would make an infusion of the powdered leaves and stems and took it in small quantities for head pains. The Chippewa, Costanoan, and Mahuna Indians all created either a decoction or an infusion of the entire plant and took it for dysentery, diarrhea, and stomach cramps. The Menominee made an infusion of the entire plant and used it as a wash for poison ivy. The Meskwaki used the plant for unspecified medicinal purposes, and the Mohegan Indians made an infusion of the seed pods and took it for stomach pains and to expel parasitic worms. The Western medicinal use of this plant, according to the King's American Dispensatory, states that the plant's actions are mildly stimulant, astringent, and diuretic. The fresh herb is more active than the dried, and cases involving the loss of appetite, dysentery, and chronic diarrhea have been successfully treated with shepherd's purse. The fresh herb, bruised and applied locally, has been useful for ecchymosis, bruises, and rheumatic pains.